Now, there appears to be still some questions around whether Messi deserved the win to win the award last night or not. And to talk to us about that and more, we are joined by senior football journalist Joe Crann, all the way in Sheffield. Crann, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
I mean, before we talk about Messi and all the other contestants, does the Ballon d'Or still have, that much meaning in terms of an accolade in football?
I think so. I mean, it's one of the most prestigious individual awards that is available. I think there's been a lot said about it over the years, and the process of how it's selected and all that kind of stuff. But I think it will always mean something. As much as anything else, it will mean something now because of the whole Messi-Ronaldo debate. So, people have got their favourite of the two, and I think that the fact that Messi's got more than Ronaldo, it will always be used as that sort of barometer to talk about that debate. I mean, it's interesting, I think, with the Ballon d'Or, because for years it felt like Messi and Ronaldo we didn't feel like they were just sort of passing it around between each other. But yeah, to have won it again for Messi is pretty incredible, considering the longevity that he's got. But yeah, I do think it's still relevant. But the argument with all these individual awards, I think, is that it so often goes to attackers, and I think that you look at the amount of goalkeepers, of defenders that could have sort of staked a claim for it over the years that have been ignored. I do think there's a lot of people out there that think it feels like an attacker's award rather than a general footballer's award.
Is it fair then to compare the FIFA Best Awards to the Ballon d'Or?
Well, I mean, they were linked for a long time, weren't they? They were effectively the same thing. There's always going to be those comparisons. That is natural. But they're voted for by different people, and football's a game of opinion. So I think that is, people look to compare and always will look to compare, especially when it's the same industry. Football is football. So yeah, I think that it's probably fair to compare because you're looking at the same sort of award, but there is also going to be the element of, just like I say, people have different opinions on these things.
So when you look at this year's competition and the questions that have been there, many are saying that Erling Haaland, if he had the same stats, would he, be winning this? Or rather Messi, if he had Haaland's statistics, would he still be able to win this? Or is it one of those things where the judges, whoever are making these decisions, a bit more emotional about it? I mean, there was a time when it was strictly journalists who were deciding on the Ballon d'Or awards.
Yeah, look, well, if Erling Haaland had won the World Cup when he was at Norway, then he definitely deserved it.
Well, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
No, well, they've got to qualify for one first.
Yeah.
But no, I completely understand the argument. I think, any football purist was happy to see Lionel Messi win the World Cup. I think it was the cherry on top of a cake that was missing for so long. It was always going to loom over him, and his ability to win major trophies with his country. Obviously, his club form has been nowhere near what we've seen of Messi in the past. He's obviously been into Miami now. He didn't really set the world alight at PSG. He had plenty of moments, as Messi has and always will have. But it was those heroics in Qatar in the World Cup that won him the award. It's difficult because I think there is merit to both sides, but my understanding with the Ballon d'Or, and I think I'm probably not alone in this, is that it's an award based on an entire year of being the best footballer in the world. And while Messi on his day is still the best footballer in the world, you look at the numbers that Erling Haaland racked up in his season with Man City, and it's absolutely incredible. And it's not just individual numbers either. Like he was part of a treble-winning side. I think he scored 6 Premier League hat-tricks, 52 goals in a season, which is absolutely mental. So I understand why there is an argument that it maybe shouldn't have been Messi, but I think it's also, it's not like Messi had a bad season. It's just it was not as good as what it's been for him in the past. And I do think that the way that he almost single-handedly at times dragged Argentina through to win the World Cup was incredible, and you can't discount that as well. I think if you look at it in a binary of did Messi achieve more as an individual than Haaland, probably not. Did he achieve more in terms of what it meant for his legacy? Is winning the World Cup, especially the way that he did it, is that more impressive than Man City winning the treble? That's up for debate. So there are reasons why it makes sense to me that there is an argument for either side.
So would you
ultimately it comes down to opinions, doesn't it?
Would you then, as we quickly wrap this one up, Crann, would you say it came down to the World Cup and obviously the prestige of winning the FIFA World Cup?
Absolutely. I mean, without the World Cup, I don't think Messi gets anywhere near this award. I think he'd still be up there with the best players in the world, but I think without that win in the World Cup, I don't think he'd have been really in the conversation for the top three. You look at players like Haaland and Mbappe that have just been incredible on an individual level. I mean, Mbappe did it World Cup and for club, so there's that element as well. But yeah, I think if it hadn't been for Lionel Messi winning the World Cup, this would have been Erling Haaland's award to take. I do think, however, as sorry as I do feel for him, I do think we'll see a couple of Ballon d'Ors in Erling Haaland's future.
Absolutely. No, definitely. Crann, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you so much for taking time to speak to us. So that is senior football journalist Joe Crann talking to us all the way from Sheffield. Let's park it there.